Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out a lot when we're sharing all the content, all the DIY stuff that we do on this channel. Now, we do a lot of active heating. We spend a lot of time and a lot of energy trying to heat all our greenhouses. We've got a little Indian summer, and I actually started sweating in the greenhouse. It's like 70 degrees today. So I figured I'd take advantage of that heat and the sun and just check out this system. I had put a first layer of paint on here, and this is in the shade now, but you can see it's about 90 some degrees, and then where the sun's starting to hit, it's lowering, and where we don't have a whole lot of paint, it's not as warm. So we took our own DIY egg paint. I'm going to go through how to make this. So as you can see, I put one layer on, and this is pretty solid stuff. I mean, I can chisel this off and remove it if I want to, and it is water soluble. With enough pressure, you could probably just pressure wash this right off. But I love to use this egg paint. We used it for several years now. This is like a 2-year-old rock here that I had painted with this egg paint. So the longevity on this paint is there. So we basically melted a whole bunch of ice on a bunch of bricks just like this, and this was a little bit chunky. You can see how it's kind of chunky on here because I didn't break up all of my charcoal or my biochar as good as I wanted to here. Now this is a lot finer of a powder in here, just in an old pickle jar. So we've got our egg whites separated from our egg yolks. I don't know, I had just under 2 dozen eggs. We've got chickens, so we have a free ample supply of eggs, and I just take our aging eggs because we've always got new ones coming in. So I'll take our old eggs, I'll take some of our biochar. This is not all the way ready, but so we'll take that char and we'll just basically crush it up and put it in a mortar and pestle. I found this at a thrift store for dirt cheap, so I picked it up, and it found a certain purpose for crushing that up. Now this is basically the pigment to our paint here, so we're going to take this pigment, mix it in with our egg yolks after we break up all of our egg yolks together, and this is going to be an earth-based all natural paint that will last for years, basically heat sinking the entire southern side of this little tank here. This is like a 120 gallon tank. I didn't get it filled up yet because I didn't want it sweating while I was trying to paint it. If this sweats after I paint it, it is not going to affect all of our paint here. And that is why I tested out melting snow and ice on these bricks last winter to see what the longevity and the durability of this paint would be. So I've got my egg whites, a little bit of yolk in there, but you can take those egg whites and make this into a froth whipped together, and you can set it at room temperature on your counter. Just let it sit overnight, and then once you come back to it, you'll take all the foam off the top, and all of the clear liquid you're left with at the bottom is your glaire. You can make an earth paint glaire and basically do the same thing and dye this with some type of dye or powder pigment. Now you can use beet juice, you can use walnuts, you can use lots of stuff. This is just all stuff that I had for free and could make this right here, right now. So I'm gonna go through the process of mixing this together. We do about 1-to-1 ratio on both of these. So I'm going to be making egg yolk paint because that's the only one I've experimented with, and it is very, very durable and resilient when we're adding all of these backdrops and black paint to all of our heat sinking surfaces here. Now, if your paint is getting too thick here, you can always add a couple drops of water. You basically want it the consistency of what paint you would buy in the store. So we're getting there, and I'm gonna let this sit, and it kind of bubbles up and all mixes together. So we're gonna throw a layer of paint over top of where we've already been painting. It's got a good coat to it, and once you get a second coat on there, and if you break up all of the charcoal, all of the preparation is everything. Just like with regular painting, preparation's everything, because if you got a bunch of chunks, it will dry really thick like this stuff, and then it's kind of hard to go over, and it can flake off easier. See, the stuff I just put on was broken up real fine, and it's got a nice good coat to it. It's got a few chunks in there, but we're painting with charcoal and eggs. So I could just go buy a can of Rust-Oleum and spend $10-12 on a small can and paint this half side, but where's the fun in that? I just painted this for free, and I'm completely changing the retention value. So let's jump over to these bricks. This is just a small little experiment. We've got 92, 91, okay? So we've got 76. These have been in the sun the same exact amount of time, and they've got exactly the same amount of light, same everything, same situation. So we've got a 15 to 20 degree difference between light and dark. Now that just tells me right here that I need to be painting all of my bricks and all of my heat sinks. This is really the only metal heat sink that I have right now. I'm gonna pair all of this black paint absorbing energy with a contraption on the top to actively heat the water with the sun also, and solar power. So stay tuned for an update on the actual water heating process, not just passively heating the water with black paint here. I want to come over to this side real quick. So we've got a decent spot where I did a first coat real thin yesterday, just so I could get something to stick to it. It's super loud out here today. We've got all of the combines harvesting around us and the big grain bin running, so I apologize if there's a whole bunch of extra noise, but I wanted to show the shiny side of this. So this is what we started with here. And coming around the side here, you can see how we changed the reflectiveness around the entire southern side. Got a very good black surface, dark surface to hold all of that energy and transfer it into our water passively without having to put any energy into this. If anybody's got any questions, definitely drop in the comments below, and I'm gonna let this dry. I've got a lot of work to do because it's nice out, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. So after about 20 minutes in the sun, this is fully dry.